Hi, fellow sharpeners. I'm Todd Banco with Prairie Edge Service in Calgary, Alberta. First of all, I'd like to say I hope you're having a great time at the Sharpeners Jam and really learning a lot from all the different presentations that are going on. The thing that I want to give you a short snippet or share is what I do, and I have a much larger presentation on dealing with the CRM for the mobile sharpener. The actual presentation is about an hour. I'll give you the link to the YouTube that you can go through and watch. But in essence, I just wanted to give you a quick little rundown overview of what I've evolved to using for my CRM and how I got there, because I think it's important for different people in running their business, whether or not you're mobile or if you have a brick and mortar store. How do you support? How do you manage all the information that you want to do or record from your customers and potential clients? Now, just a quick element about that: the CRM is technology involving your relationship and your interactions with your current and potential customers. So it's very useful. The one thing that I found is that when you go and do a query on CRMs in Google, you get a plethora of solutions and products and ideas and things that people will turn around and sell you from thinking that theirs is the best widget for your company. And the reality is only you can determine what's the best fit, which product and which solution of the CRM is the best fit for your business. Now, when you go and look at them, most are made up of many of these core elements are generally included, but not inclusive of all these different elements. So you might have some reporting, you might have a database, you might have artificial intelligence, you might have quoting. All of these modules are what differentiates what one CRM product has over another. The reality is you have to find something that has the right fit for you. And in the presentation, walking through what are the questions, what should you be asking about yourself, of saying which of these modules is important to the data you want to capture about your clients in supporting your clients with your model. The reality also is there is no perfect CRM. So you'll always want to look at saying which one of these situations, which one of these solutions is going to best serve what you want to get out of the data. Comes a point of collecting data, but if the data is not useful to making your business flourish and reducing the amount of time that you're working with your clients and your customers, then that's data that really, do you really need to collect it? So these are some of the questions that I go through in walking through this presentation. The other element is I talk about my journey. When I first started doing a CRM, I was working with papers. I was working with recording stuff in OneNote, a spreadsheet. I even use Google Maps, has the capability of making notes or saved text about a location. And I quickly identified I needed to find a solution that worked for my business model. And that's really what I'm going to showcase in the whole presentation. So if I just switch out of this and get into my actual, let's go to this one. This is a sample of how I use right now at this situation. I use the Aptivo CRM system and I export my data from there into my maps, and my maps from Google is a separate application which makes you have the ability to create your own custom maps or own custom points on a Google map. And that's what this is. So I've done this demo where it's in Great Falls, North Dakota, and I've selected a few salons. And what I did is I've color coded some of the clients or potential clients based on what I have them recorded in the database. So if they're green, it's places that I would have already serviced. If it's red, it's going to be someplace that I've elected to say, I'm going to avoid this place for whatever reason. If it's yellow, it's a place that I've visited. I've done my introduction. I've introduced myself, but they have not asked me in to do any sharpening for them. And gray is someone that I might not have contacted yet. Now, here's the power of using Google Maps linked in back to my Aptivo. So if I click on this, all of this data on the right-hand side is the data I imported into Google Maps or my maps from my Aptivo database. So it's things like the name. My tags are what determine the color. Things like when was the last time I contacted them? Do I have a follow-up date? What's the follow-up description? So right from my Google Maps application on my phone, as I'm doing my rounds, I can click on these tags and get feedback information. Oh, here's one that I have a follow-up date on April the 28th. Well, that's already passed for this salon. If I click on this link, this is the other really important part, is that it takes me directly to my Aptivo application on the phone. It looks very similar, not quite the exact same as this on the PC, but it takes me directly to the application. And in there, I've got my overview where I've got all my customer information. If I separated in contacts, I could have each individual stylist as a contact, but that's not what I do. If I have a calendar function, I can turn around and see, on here on July 25th, I have a call-in request to come in and do sharpening for them. So I could open that up and say, yeah, at 10 a.m. I'm supposed to be there to do a sharpening because they called and requested me to come in. I can also have follow-ups that last time I might have done something, I said, I've got a follow-up in September the 10th for a 6-month follow-up. If I do any type of calling or logging, I can record what I call call logs. So if I do an in-person stop in, if I did a sharpening like this one here on February the 8th, I did an area stop and I might have done some sharpening at that point. If I do just a phone call, I can record them both. All my types of interaction with my client, I can record on call logs. If I've done stuff directly with them, I have a notes where I can see that I've got stylists at this salon are Tony, Falco, Carol, Monica, Emma, and my types of visits that might be there. And I record down what scissor I did and what was the date and some of the things that I found as to what I did during that sharpening process. So it's my notes that I'm taking regarding that sharpening event. This is just one way. I like to do this way because it's sort of like a KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. I can see all the stylists that are there in one viewpoint. I could actually insert a picture if I had of them. But it's a very simple way, and it allows me to do it either on my computer back at home or from my app. And what I actually choose to do is when I'm sharpening in the salon, I use a piece of paper and make my notes there. And then when I get home in the evening, I go and transfer that day's sharpenings or that week's sharpenings into each client's record. So that's a very quick overview of what the uh, event is, or what the element is. So if we turn around and go back to the beginning, the CRM for sharpening, the link will be here on the right hand side. And go ahead, and it takes about an hour long presentation, walks you through all those elements. And I hope that it gives you some insight and answers some questions about which products to look at, because there's a variety of ones that when I was doing my research, I tried many of the different flavors in their trial elements. I highlight what I thought was some of the good points or some of the bad points, and how those different ones didn't fit my needs. But I also highlight some that may be worthy of ones that you might want to go and look at. So with that, I hope you have a great Sharpeners Jam. I hope that you find this interesting. And if you have any comments, you can always leave comments on the YouTube webinar that I have on this. And wish everyone success in this year's Sharpening Jam event and your endeavors in your business of being a sharpener for sharpening hair shears or barber shears or grooming shears. Thank you again. Have a great day.